Good afternoon. I've just finished reading a book called I Didn't Do It by Jaime, Lynn, Hendricks. So this is another murder mystery, and it's set at a thriller writer convention, which is taking place in New York City. So on the very first day of the conference, news gets around that one of the authors who was up for a possible big award was stabbed to death in her hotel room. At the same time, 4 different people who all have connections to her start to get these really strange text messages from an unknown number that appear to come from someone who knows a lot more about them than they are each comfortable with, and they're also getting suddenly followed by a mysterious Twitter account which was created on the same day and is prompting them with more texts that are very much kind of threatening, since all of these things imply to them that one of them is possibly going to be killed next. So among these 4 people, there's they're all writers in one way or another. So one is a formerly really famous author who has not been able to publish anything really well received for some time, and he was working on a book as a co-author with the person who was killed. Then there's someone who's on the verge of getting super famous because he has all these publishing and film related deals coming up for his book, which is about to be released, and he's very, very self-centered and has like a giant ego, and at this point none of the people who know him like him very much. Then there's the fellow female writer on the awards nominees. Like, she finds out that her boyfriend has possibly been sleeping with the person who was killed. And then finally, there's a writer who's very new to the scene, like she's not yet published, and has frankly had a very serious obsession with the person who was killed, starting from many, many years ago, like to the point where they almost got a restraining order for her. So these 4 people, they're now on each other's radars, since they've all been contacted in this way, and they kind of, sort of try to work together to figure out what's going on, though mainly they're all really just preoccupied with keeping themselves alive and kind of pushing blame onto each other. So something that I liked. I like the conference kind of setting. Like, this is the, I think, 4th book or so that I've read that kind of has a similar setup. Like, there was a murder writer conference on a cruise ship one, and a murder writer conference on a train one, and I guess you kind of get the idea. Like, it's a type of setting that I tend to enjoy. I also think the writing style was lively, which is probably the main reason I finished reading the whole thing, since kind of by halfway through I didn't really like any of the characters and almost stopped reading because they were annoying me so much. But I think that's the problem when, like, the story is written in rotating first person, and since it's set up to make it seem possible that any of them could have done something really terrible, like, they're not going to come across as partially likable people, I suppose, but they kind of struck me as all being kind of snobby, self-centered, and really overly obsessed with fame. So yeah, like, it was kind of hard to care what happened to any of them by partway through the book to me. Let's see. So something I did not like. This didn't really feel like a murder mystery to me. Like, it was one of those that pop back and forth between like what happened in the past and what happened now, and it felt more like the writer feeding you bits of information as the story unfolded. Like, the characters themselves didn't really do any investigating. I mean, there was some cursory stuff like Google searches and like a phone call or whatever, but there was like 0 discussion of things like motive or real opportunity or like any of the kind of things that I would expect from a murder mystery. I mean, there are I guess possibly reasons for that because of the way the story unfolded, but it kind of meant that as a murder mystery, I found it a little unsatisfying that way.